definitely back this morning. Yeah, this is the world famous morning thermos. It starts every day. Look how well worn this thing is. It has been through the wars, hasn't it? That's it's probably I'm guessing 4 years worth of morning shows right there every day. Good morning, everybody. By the way, I'm Dan Gresham, as you can see there on the bottom of the screen. And yes, I'm lamenting the fact that I've already been through this whole thing. I don't know. I should stop someday and pour just to know how many. 2, 3. It's got to be at least 3.5 cups of coffee, I would think. Healthy cups of coffee. And some days it's more than enough, and other days there ain't enough coffee in the world, if you know what I mean. And on a Wednesday, sometimes that's it. No, but tomorrow will be the day, because Thursdays are always, the absolute hardest day of the week, at least for me. Anyway, I hope you have some coffee going this morning. If you haven't already finished off your thermos, your carafe, your pot, whatever it is, and maybe you're not a coffee drinker. I guess I find that hard to imagine simply because I am such a caffeine-driven person in the morning. You know, it's not just the flavor of the coffee. I need the jolt, and that's where I get it, right? Once again, glad you're starting your morning with us. 18th day of November. It's also the 18th day into our No Shave November. Hence the scraggly look this morning. Kind of coming in kind of a salt and pepper. It used to be this really nice looking kind of brown. But there again, that's changing. So, hey, at this point in life, at my age, which is over 60, to say the least, closer to 70 now than 60. But anyway, I'm just glad to have hair at all, period, no matter what color it is. But anyway, it is. We're doing this, again, if you haven't noticed, it's No Shave November. It's a foundation. It's been going on for years. We've done it several times in the morning show. We did it this year because we believe that it's important, even in the midst of a pandemic, coronavirus pandemic, that we talk about other issues, and that includes cancer among men. Men historically are not as good as women when it comes to taking care of themselves. Most of us think, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm strong, and if something happens, you just kind of play it off, I'll deal with it later, right? So that's just how we've always been. So we want to change that mindset. And it's better now than it was 50 years ago, but it's not as good as it could be, because early detection is the key. And you can't have early detection if you're not talking about it, you're not encouraging people. Ask for a PSA test, even if you don't know what it is. Ask your doctor. If he doesn't think you should have it, he'll tell you you don't need it. Think about talking to somebody about taking a colonoscopy if they need it. Talk to somebody about, when's the last time. Skin cancer is another one of those things that we don't talk about. Men, the idea of putting on sunscreen, that's something that you do when you go fishing. It's not something you do every day, even if you're going to be exposed to the sun for 12 hours a day. We just don't do it, historically speaking. So by being part of, No Shave November, we put the razors down for 30 days. People start asking you, what's up? What's going on with this scraggly look? And you say, all right, I get an opportunity to tell you, about cancer awareness. So that's what's driving. That's what's going on. All right. Don't forget to check in this morning. If you haven't already, let us know you hear what's going on in your life. You can just say hi. You can tell us where you're watching from. You can tell us what you have planned for your day. You can tell us what you had for breakfast. It doesn't matter. Lucille, good morning in Port Arthur. Nina is in Mauriceville this morning. Lola Dubois wants to know, where did Greg Kerr go? Greg Kerr, you're right, is no longer with KFDM TV. It's now with KLST. KLST is located in San Angelo, Texas. He and his wife have moved to San Angelo, and Greg is working there as the evening anchor with another former Beaumont alumni, but not at the other channel, Carolyn McEnroe, who was here for a number of years before she left, went to Baltimore. Now she's also out in West Texas. So Greg is working with her. So if you ever get, what do they call it? The Concho Valley, right? I think that's what they call McAllen, not McAllen. the Concho Valley. So if you get out that way towards San Angelo, check it out. All right. Also, good morning to Mildred over in Kirbyville. Hi, Monica. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Bobby. Good to see you this morning. Even you're in Silsbee. Jerry's watching from Sanger, Texas this morning. I'm not Sanger. Okay. Linda, morning scraggly face for a good reason. Well, thank you. Yes, it is scraggly for a good reason. Also, good morning to Tanya. Let's see who else is up. Catherine. Dan, back in Beaumont. Well, good to have you back in Beaumont this morning. Vernell Thomas, he says, good morning, Dan. It's okay. You're still looking good. Or maybe I started from a point, Vernell, that it couldn't hurt, right? At this point in life, it can't hurt. Just try a beard. It can't hurt. Liddell Jones, good morning to you as well. I see. Catherine is saying she's in San Antonio, but she's from Beaumont. Gotcha. Also, good morning to Kathy Livermore. I think the beard looks great and for a really great cause. Well, thank you. Keep encouraging me. Who knows what might happen. Hi, Joyce over in Orange. Also, Lola, thank you this morning. Tammy, good morning to you over in Lumberton. Ruby Young from Killeen, Texas. Good morning, Ruby. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people that I know. I worked in Waco for a number of years, went to school in Waco. So, and you know this, Waco, Killeen, it's just kind of, there's that connection there because it's so close and so many people, are going back and forth. So I covered a lot of stories. One of the first, just telling on myself, one of the first presidential stories I ever went to, I went and I saw, I hate to say it, but I believe it's Mr. Carter, many years ago in Killeen. He came to visit Fort Hood, and I was sent over to cover this story. Mary Walford, good morning. Shakara, good morning to you as well. Also, Sheila, good morning to you there in Viter. So again, go ahead and sign in. Also, do me a favor. I usually don't say this till the end of the show, but if you don't mind, if you drop by, even if it's for a couple of minutes, if you give me a like, which is just that circle with the thumbs up in it, then I get a little bit of credit for that. And that credit goes a long way when you work for somebody else. You can go, see, I told you, people are still watching. We've been doing this for coming up on 7 months. So, there are people who are there who still want, to catch up on what's going on. And again, we're trying to, or at least I am, trying to trend away from the idea that this is actually a newscast. This is not a newscast. This is not what we do on television. This is what we do on Facebook. This is our live stream. And it is different. And by design, I want it to be different. I hope that you do too. Because you know what? There's a million places you can go and get the headlines. But you and I can glance the headlines, see the headlines, let you go and examine them for yourself. And then maybe I can dig up stories that you missed that we can share together. All right, so let's get to it this morning. I'm going to start not there, but here. This is KFDM.com. Always a good place to begin your day. You're going to catch up on everything that's happening in local news from KFDM TV. Let me just encourage you, if you haven't, go check out this story. This is Jillian Fertig, who until, 7 months ago, I sat next to every day on the air. And we still sit next to each other in the newsroom. We're just not on the air, and hopefully that returns soon. But anyway, she did a really in-depth story looking at the history of militias in America and what they are and how it works, right? And why you should be aware of what militias are. And really kind of defining a definition of militias. But she put a lot of work into it. It's a good piece. It's a lengthy piece. It's a little bit more in depth than what you might find elsewhere. Also this morning, a good story talking about identifying local COVID-19 trends. Why is it important that Jefferson County, which has now surpassed 7,800 positive tests and 140 deaths, that we know where these numbers are? And where these numbers come from. And are there underlying conditions? How does obesity play into it? How does hypertension play in it? All of those things are being examined here in Southeast Texas by a lot of different doctors. So go check out the story and you'll hear from them. Also this morning, a lot of concern around the holiday season as you know, the pandemic is still in place. So we're talking to a lot of folks about what can we do? What should we be doing? And the one thing that hasn't changed during this pandemic is something called, and I'm hoping by now this is something that's just part of your life. It's called situational awareness. This is being taught all over the country to a lot of people. Many of them are in law enforcement. Does just saying the phrase to come across to you, situational awareness? It simply means that wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, like right now, I'm in my house, in my room, I'm aware of not only that I'm talking to you, but also the other thing, my wife I can hear her in the kitchen, or in the laundry room. I can hear the dogs prowling around. I need to bring the dogs on one day. I'm going to bring my dogs on one day and let you see what they look like. You'd like my dogs. But anyway, I'll do that one day. But it's being aware. But let's put it into a more practical application. Being at home, you should be aware. Is the door locked? Am I upstairs? Should I be concerned? Is somebody going to be knocking on the door? When you go out, even when you walk from your house to your car, you should be aware of what's going on. Most smart people would tell you that, you would walk with your keys in your hand for a number of reasons. One is it gives you the opportunity to open your door quickly and get in your car. The other is if worse came to worse, you might have something in your hand that could help you. Situational awareness. I'm looking. I'm not walking with my head down. Ladies, men, you go shopping during the holidays. Wherever you go, don't come out of the store looking down, walking. You come out of the store looking straight ahead, being aware. Because what do victims have in common for the most part? Victims of, say, assaults or robberies. The fact that they make themselves easy targets. And you may say, well, I don't agree with that. That's not true. But if you talk to the people who are law enforcement experts who've been doing it for years and they've examined case after case after case, it's what they have in common, is that they make themselves an easier target because those who perpetrate the crime are looking for the path of what? Least resistance. They don't want somebody who's going to put up a fight. Nobody wants to be in a confrontation. Nobody wants to think that, hey, this guy might actually pull out, a weapon and defend himself. They want somebody that they know is totally unaware of what's going on. I'm about to walk up on this guy. I'm going to steal everything they have. I'm going to take all their packages, and they're not even going to know what hit them. That's what they want. So you and I have to counter that by being smart enough to be aware of what's going on. It's just the way we should be all the time. Situationally aware. Whatever situation you're in, you're alert. You know what's going on. What's the old saying? You've got your head on a swivel. You're looking around. You're paying attention. If you can also help yourself. It's kind of like the idea of, people stealing gifts and things from cars, packages from cars. Well, don't leave it where they can get it. Put it in a secure. It's going to take you 10 more minutes. Put it in a secure place. Not only that, again, now you've taken away one more reason for somebody to want to mess with you. It only takes a couple of seconds to be in the moment versus being somewhere else. I was thinking this morning, the same idea. I was thinking, when do things always seem to happen to me that when it's unexpected, when I'm thinking about something else? Let me give a good example and then we'll move on. I was involved in a pretty serious accident about, I guess 6 or 7 years ago. On my way to work in the middle of the night, I got T-boned by a drunk driver in an intersection. I had the green light, they ran the red light, and they crashed into me. You know what I remember? I remember thinking, I've got to get to work and put the coffee on. I'm driving. Oh, yeah, I need to get to work, man. I got to put that coffee on so I can. And then, boom, it happens, and you're like, it was surreal anyway, because you're in the air and the car's spinning around and you're wondering what's going on. But those things always seem to happen when I'm distracted. When you're thinking about something else instead of being in the moment. So again, going into this time of year, be smart. Be smart when you go out. Be in the moment and be aware of what's going on around you, okay? So that's a really good story, and I think it's something that was worth talking about this morning as we head off into the holidays. All right, so again, lots of good stories. Go check them out for yourself. Also, a blanket drive that's going on, and a Jefferson County doctor convicted of healthcare fraud yesterday. So all these stories, again, are on kfdm.com. Go read them for yourself. Also this morning, take a look at this one, the mask mandates. You know, we know about masks. We've heard them from the beginning, but what's different is, you know, now we're hearing different stories. At first we heard don't wear them. Then we heard wear them. Then we heard they're not effective. Then we heard they're very effective. And now we're being told that what works is when everyone wears them. You know, if you wear a mask, unless it's probably an N95, you're probably not really protecting yourself as much as you're protecting other people. You're knocking down those airborne droplets. You're keeping them somewhat contained. And if everybody does that, right, when both people are wearing masks, that's when you get the best result. The decline in the virus particles reaching the second person close to 70%. You know, you can say, oh no, they're bad for you. You know, you're breathing. Go find that by a reputable health official today. So it says if everyone wears a mask when social distancing is not feasible, the infection rate will be cut. It's not perfect. It will not end it. It will not totally prevent you. But all indications are from all the amount of research that we now have is it's the best thing that you can do. And of course, washing your hands is still a smart thing to do as well. Wear your mask, social distance when you can. Good story, though. USA Today, go and read it for yourself. And it just kind of talks about how this whole idea has morphed through time. All right, another good story. Texas Tribune this morning. Patrick Switek and Dan Rosenzweig Ziff have done a story. Corona cases in Texas are soaring. But this time, Governor Abbott says no lockdown is coming. A lot of people have been talking about this, but you can go and read what the governor is saying, you know, talking about hospitalizations, talking about positivity rates, you know, how high do they have to be? How high would they have to be? And again, at this point, the governor says, I'm not even talking about a shutdown. Despite, you know, what might happen. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like something that would be happening here in the state of Texas. Also, and you know, I always want to end on a positive note. You always want to have something. And let's be honest. Some days it's not easy. Some days you're looking around, you're going, is everything bad? Is everything negative? Well, it can be. That's when maybe you walk away from it. You know, if you get to that point where you feel like all I'm reading, you know, is bad news, then maybe it's just when you walk away from it. Go engage your family. Go be part of something else. You know, leave the big picture alone and just focus on the little picture. You know, maybe it's you and, you know, the immediate surroundings, you and your family. All right, so that being said, let me give you one. Here's a I don't know if it's a bright note, but I thought it's a cheery note that people, this is Houston Chronicle, this is Kathy Free's article, actually from the Washington Post, reprinted in the Chronicle and on their website. It says, people started sending art rocks to a Texas park during the pandemic. Now it's a wonderland of tiny paintings. So it turns out that people in Grapevine, up towards Dallas, who don't have a whole lot of time, you know, to socialize, have a whole lot of time to be creative. And what they've done is that they're hand painting, and some of them are pretty elaborate. I'm not sure if I have a picture of any of them or not. It seems like June bugs are very popular. But anyway, they're painting and having other people, somebody contributed $10,000. And they're putting all of these rocks in parks for other people to find when they go walking through the parks. It's kind of like, oh, where did that come from? Oh, look at this rock. Oh, I guess they do have a few of them. There you go. They're the ladybugs I was talking about. And boy, some of them are much more elaborate, as you can see. But maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's something that you do. People are actually mailing rocks to this person to put in the park. But, maybe it's something you can do locally. Maybe it's something you can do in your community. I know my grandkids kind of got into it. They were finding the painted rocks. So anyway, something to think about. Maybe a distraction. And by the way, did you know today is Mickey and Minnie Mouse's birthday? It's true. It's very true. They were born on this date. Steamboat Willie was aired on this date in New York City. And by the way, it was not in the original 92 years ago. It was not Mickey and Minnie. It was Mortimer and Minerva. Mortimer and Minerva. No wonder Disney changed it to Mickey and Minnie. Oh, and by the way, this is my one other note, fun fact for you on that. Did you know that at one time Walt Disney, in an interview, actually said that Mickey and Minnie were married, but never was it stated publicly or by the company Disney. So to this day, a lot of people are still arguing, well, are they husband and wife or man and mouse? But either way, they're both celebrating 92 years of existence. All right, that is pretty much it for me today. I appreciate your time. You know that. I also want to remind you that there are a variety of ways you can catch up on things. Obviously, here on the KFDM Facebook page, also Twitter, Morning TV Dan, and on YouTube, Dan's at Home. You can subscribe and it'll send you an alarm, and then you'll always know when the update's coming. Also, again, this morning, if you don't mind, hit us with a like. We would appreciate that. And we'll continue to keep you updated as much as possible. I'm out of here. I got things to do. I know you do too. So go enjoy your day. Make the most of it. Be situationally aware. Start today. Make that part of it today. When you go out, just remind yourself, okay, I'm not going to get lost in my thoughts. I'm actually going to stay engaged in the moment. And share that with somebody you know. Just say, hey, I was thinking about this. And, when we go out and get our coffee, or when we go and, whatever it may be, sitting in the parking lot of a church, coming out, just be smart. Be smart. All right? Smart about everything that you do, as smart as you can possibly be. Why not? When did we go away from that idea, if it never hurts, to do a little more better than a little less. All right. Go out and make it a terrific day, as I said. And I'll see you back tomorrow morning, bright and early, right here on the KFDM Facebook page, as well as KFDM TV.